Hey guys, this is Taras Berezovets and my friend Peter Zalmayev. We are both journalists working on Ukrainian news channel Primy, and now both of us, Peter and I, are covering news war in Ukraine on world channels. Today is 2nd of March 2022, and with brief analysis what's going on here in Ukraine, how Ukrainian people are fighting against tyranny, how they're fighting against Putin hordes attacking Ukraine. And today could be a decisive day, Peter, because this could be a last attempt of Vladimir Putin to seize control over Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. He now surrounded Kyiv from the north, and from the west he's trying to block support of Ukrainian armed forces coming. But we know that defenders of Ukrainian capital are ready to repel this invasion. What do you think of that?
Well, it is, by all accounts, a kind of a stage of desperation for Vladimir Putin, who set out fully 6 days ago to conduct a blitzkrieg, a short and a victorious war against Ukraine to try to bring it to its knees, and has miserably failed at every stage, to the consternation of the entire world, at the price of the entire world coming together against Vladimir Putin and in support of Ukraine, but at the same time making kind of a fool of himself and ridiculing, opening his own army up to the ridicule of the world, which has seen what the vaunted Russian military is really like. We've all seen footage and photos in major media such as New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, the world over, how ill prepared the invading force was, how grossly underestimated was the resistance of the Ukrainian people. And basically what we've seen is Vladimir Putin expose his own soldiers as sitting ducks to the full might of Ukraine's territorial defense, air defense, etc. We hear reports that as many as 5.5 thousand Russian servicemen have been killed, and then you have to consider that Vladimir Putin has been trying to impose a severe informational blockade on Russia. And this has led to to denial on the part of Russian officials that there are any deaths in the battlefield of Ukraine at all. So the Russians are refusing to gather their own dead. They're keeping some of them in Belarus. Some are just lying abandoned in the field, so that the mothers and the fathers do not learn of the fate of their loved ones, and that does not lead to a social protest in Russia, which Vladimir Putin is so afraid of.
Well, I think the matter of Putin's propaganda is crucial actually for his defeat. Basically, what Vladimir Putin is trying to do these days, we see it on Russian liberal TV channels. The last still standing, but still now they experience huge problems. I mean, Echo of Moscow, Echo Moskvy, and Dozhd, the rain,
TV channel.
which are about to be closed, and pressure of Russian authoritarian machine on social networks, Facebook, ВКонтакте, Одноклассники, YouTube, Twitter, and others.
Because, Taras, let me just interject. Vladimir Putin did not prepare either his people for what really is happening in Ukraine. It's a war of occupation. He instead tried and has been selling the public the idea that it's a special operation to get rid of some terrorists and Nazi sympathizers, and install a much friendlier regime to Russia. And he's also done the same thing, to the army. The military men who've been captured and questioned are telling Ukrainians that we were never told where we're going, that we're going to a real war against Ukrainians,
They were not ready at all, and what we now hear from Ukrainian Ministry of Defense and Ukrainian military intelligence, the Russians were completely unaware of the fact. Well, let me say, they say we haven't been aware of the fact that they've been invading Ukraine, but this can be just a trick, psychological trick, to cheat Ukrainian military intelligence, who captured these prisoners of war from Russian armed forces. But still, we should understand that watching these faces of Russian military youngsters, 18, 19, 20 years old maximum, that's how they look like. and they are completely non-prepared for this war, and that's why they surrendered to Ukrainians. But still, we should talk about the atrocities of this military conflict in Ukraine. Just to explain what's going on, very close friend of us, her name is Anastasia. She said yesterday that her neighbors, they were living in a cottage village to the west from our capital, Kyiv. And because of war shortages, the whole family, father, mother, and their son, they've been driving a private car just to get water. And they all of them, free, they have been shot by Russian occupants. Outside of Kyiv, just several kilometers. They killed them just without no reason. Civilians, they didn't give him a chance even to surrender. They just killed him. And their neighbors who've been driving with the next car, they saw it, so they made the U-turn and escaped because they have been killed too. That's what's happening. My classmate, who's living in Kharkiv, the second largest Kyiv city, she's been spending now a days in a bomb shelter, and the Russians nearly destroyed half of its city, bomb shelling residential houses. My mother-in-law in our city of Ukraine, in Mariupol, she's spending all the time with her mother, who is more than 80 years old. Because this city has been bombshelled by Russians as well.
So what we're seeing, folks, is that in growing desperation by Vladimir Putin, who does have a much stronger military. He's definitely out. The Ukrainian military, territorial defense units are definitely outgunned and outmanned by the Russians. But the Russians have a very low morale. They're fighting a war they don't understand. They have not been told about. While Ukrainians are fighting to defend their own land, they are in their own home. And so what you're seeing is this desperation that has spilled into this indiscriminate sort of punitive shelling of Ukrainian cities and targeting, structures, buildings, objects of symbolic value to Ukrainians.
Yeah, that building you remember in Kyiv, which has been hit by Russian bomb in Solominsky district. Just for your understanding, this is building which is standing next to mine, 150 meters from mine house. And the Russians hit with the rocket building where we are living. Just this is our neighborhood, and some pieces of these bricks, they fell on a kindergarten where my youngest daughter, just 2 years old, where she gone to just for the last several months. And you seeing these atrocities and these demolitions caused by Russians.
Just yesterday.
This is military.
This is military crimes, obviously, and war crimes, essentially. The use there have been credible reports of the use of cluster bombs. Just yesterday, Kharkiv suffered a hit by what looks like a vacuum bomb. Folks, if you haven't seen what a vacuum bomb explosion is, it's a banned ordnance. It looks very similar to an atomic explosion. I mean, first thing I thought when Taras showed me the video, I thought, this the nuclear war he's been threatening.
It looked like a nuke.
It looked like the nuclear mushroom cloud. But let me just add another particular strike that struck my imagination. There was an attempt to disable the TV tower yesterday, and collateral damage of that was a hit on the Babin Yar memorial site, which is the site of the greatest Jewish massacre in World War II, folks. So what we're seeing is Vladimir Putin, who's set out, as he claims, to liberate Ukraine of Nazis, of the Nazi regime. And mind you, the president of Ukraine is a Jew, okay? All of a sudden, he's hitting memorial sites where Jews were killed, essentially killing them a second time.
Well, it just looks like, these Russian Nazis, they do the same as German Nazis did during World War II. Exactly. I think this is very, very symbolic place, not only for Jewish people, for many Ukrainians and other nations. I mean, it's Babin Yar. And when I heard this news yesterday, I was absolutely shocked. Shocked by the news that Ukrainian government and Ukrainian people, they raised the monument on this place of Nazi atrocities at Babin Yar, and now it has been hit by these Russian bastards, by these murderers who came to kill our people, and they don't pay attention, killing anyone: Ukrainians, Russians, Jews, Crimean Tatars, and all of us. So, folks, me, Taras Berezovets, and my colleague Peter Zalmayev will be covering this war in Ukraine from now on my
We'll be
YouTube channel.
we'll be bringing you daily, timely updates on the situation in Kyiv, both local circumstances and also trying to bring to bear on the situation locally the larger geopolitical context.
Yeah, please subscribe to our channel for more English news and support us on Patreon. Find the link just below this video. Thank you so much.
And glory to Ukraine, Slava
Glory to
Ukraini,
Ukraine,
folks.
Slava
Thank you for your
Ukraini,
support.
Heroes Slam. Thank you. Bye bye.